Hello, everyone. My name is Eduardo Flores, and today we're doing a little Game of Thrones recap. Last week was the season finale. But first off, I want to say, currently in Houston, there was a Hurricane Harvey specifically. So we cannot make it to campus right now. We hope that everyone around the city of Houston is doing okay, and around Texas as well. We know a lot of other places got hit. But besides the point, we persevere. We try to get y'all content, and we want to talk about Game of Thrones. So I'm here with Jackson, Brock, Danielle Jacobo, and Samantha De Leon. Also, a cameo by Kirby Carlock. I don't know. He's somewhere here. Um. So yeah, guys. Despite the hurricane, we watched Game of Thrones. Like, we got our priorities straight.
Yeah, even though the sky's falling out, we made sure to stay tuned.
Yeah, and this episode was, holy crap, it was a lot.
Boy, what is a doozy?
A lot of thoughts.
We got lots of thoughts, but we're gonna try to keep it kind of short today. We don't want anyone listening to this in a time of need. We want y'all to be safe, so we're gonna give this to you. Hopefully, you can watch it after this is all done. But yeah, so I guess I'll start off with my thoughts. I just want to say, good lord, this was a doozy of an episode. I'm kind of speechless the more I think about it, to be honest.
Now, when you say it's a doozy of an episode, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, elaborate, please.
I might have to bleep this, but just incest. I'll just say that.
Why do you have to bleep incest?
Well, I don't know what Coogtv's guidelines are. I don't know if I can say that.
The word
Well-
incest.
Yeah, the word incest.
Yes, that finally happened.
We finally got.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting little area we had there at
It's
the end of the
not so
episode.
bad because, I mean, okay, we have them finally in King's Landing, and they talk with Cersei, and Cersei, lying to them, and then her and Jaime get this whole thing, and then Jon and Daenerys in the middle of the sea on the way to Winterfell are just getting it on. And while this is happening, you have Bran and Winterfell talking with Sam about how Jon is not actually Ned Stark's son, and that how he's getting it on with his aunt, and they don't know, and they just kind of just drop that in there, and then the Great War begins, and then this is how the season ends. It just
I mean, yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know already, R plus L equals J. Rhaegar and Lyanna Stark had a little boy named Aegon, who turns out to be Jon Snow.
Aegon Targaryen,
Aegon
and
Targaryen.
he is the rightful heir, and I already know this is just going to cause so many problems with him and Daenerys, because I mean, not only are they aunt and nephew, but I mean, now he's a legitimate threat for lineage and stuff.
Do you know what I think is gonna happen? I think that Daenerys and Jon are gonna die, but she's gonna have a baby, and then that's gonna be on the throne.
I thought she
The
was
baby? The baby
The
just-
prince that was promised.
I think they're not gonna
Oh.
matter in the end.
Yeah, I could see that. But I thought she couldn't have kids.
Well, they focus on it so much. I think I feel like they're definitely gonna have to. Like, I feel like it was foreshadowing.
Yeah, they talked about it at least 4 times in the past 2 episodes.
Past 2 minutes.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, that was basically the ending. I guess we should start with, sort of the beginning plot. A big thing was, like was mentioned previous. Everyone met up. We had big meetups. We had big meetings going on. We had Cersei and her army meeting up with Daenerys and Jon. Yeah, basically everyone like reunited. We had, the Cleganes reunite. We had Tyrion and Podrick.
Game Bowl.
Yeah, we have the Clegane Bowl going on.
Oh, Game Boy. The most satisfying meetup was the Hound and Brienne.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Brienne and Tara.
Talking about Arya, yes.
Yeah.
It was more of like a proud parents moment for me.
Yeah.
I'm the hound.
They
I'm
weren't
a
like
good
mad at
dad.
each other.
Yeah.
It definitely stood as one of the best meetups. We had a lot of meetups this episode, and I mean, we had a lot. There was a lot of people finally meeting other people, things finally getting resolved. And at the end of the day, Brienne and Hound is one of the most rewarding to watch because it didn't feel rushed like the majority of this episode. And I felt that they
Yeah.
actually allowed time for both of them to speak and pause and have their moments, and it not feel that it was, like kind of forced down their throats necessarily.
It wasn't as quick as, the end of Littlefinger, because I mean that's also a big thing.
God, that was so good. That was such a good moment. But yeah, basically in King's Landing, we'll just like try to get through that quickly. We had the meetups going on, and Tyrion and Daenerys and Jon all trying to get Cersei to join up and fight the dead. We had the White get released in front of Cersei, almost eat her. To be honest, I really wanted her to get eaten in that moment. That's just me. Um, you know, uh, I guess we could say, long story short, now everyone knows that the dead are a thing, but still Cersei is being stupid, and she's like, no, the only way I'm gonna
That
join up
just
with you
blows
guys.
my mind. He can just not care.
Yeah,
Well, I think she cares, and that's why she let Daenerys and Jon go. I think that she just wants them to risk their life. She doesn't want to risk hers. I think she has faith that since Daenerys has her dragons, that they're going to be able to take them out before they reach the south, or at least take out a good bit that they can take on by the time they get there.
Yeah.
yeah,
But no, she's definitely. I mean, I feel like she has to care because the way season 6 ended was that Cersei had no children, so she wasn't really grounded anymore. But now she has a child, so I mean, I feel like she has to care about her survival at this point. Like she wants to have that
Oh
baby.
yeah. I have that baby, but I mean, like, at what cost? I mean, she's going to be, alone and ruling over nothing and no one. And I don't know. I mean, I understand what you're saying. It just felt that Cersei really just didn't care. I mean, you're right, she does, but it just, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. That Cersei was just going to grow a heart and, all of a sudden start caring about people and stuff. Like,
Yeah. Well, if you remember, I think from season 5, the prophecy with the witch, it said that Cersei was going to have 3 children, and she already had 3,
or
and
Shroud.
then that she would be killed by her little brother. So Jamie and Tyrion are technically fit that description.
Viable.
So it's like, if I mean everything from that prophecy has been true so far. So part
Yeah.
of me thinks, one, she's not going to have that kid because she was only told to have 3, and 2, she's not going to make it because the prophecy said she's not going to. They said she's going to die. So I mean that's kind of how I go into viewing season 8.
That's exactly how I feel.
Well, I
Me
can't.
too.
I don't know. I can't trust. Like prophecies anymore.
It's been true
Mm.
so far.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I think Daenerys is going to have a baby. I think Daenerys
Oh,
is
no.
getting knocked up.
Oh, definitely.
Can we just for a
John.
moment I'll ask that at the end. We're gonna do a name that baby at the end of this episode. So yeah, so basically Cersei is unconvinced, and she just is like, "Hey, if I'm gonna join up with you, Jon can't fight me after this is all over." And Jon, like the illegitimate son of Ned Stark, he said, "No, I'm loyal to Daenerys." So that's a solid no from
Such a
me.
dumb thing to do.
John's annoying.
Danielle,
Uh,
we're not gonna have this discussion right now. We don't have enough time.
I mean, honestly, looking at that whole scene where he was like, "No, I'm loyal to Daenerys," and then he didn't bend the knee. If one thing, I just felt that whole scene was unnecessary. Really, nothing came of it, and it was just kind of awkward. And then she, at the end, Cersei then still decided to quote unquote help them. I mean, she's not doing it, but I just felt like that was so unnecessary for having them standing there. And then Peter Dinklage go and talk to Cersei, and then have him come back, and then they're all still there, and it was just it seemed
Yeah.
unnecessary.
Well, they
Yeah,
The only thing I
agreed.
got from Tyrion talking to Cersei was that I was really surprised that she didn't take the chance to kill him while she could, because it shows that, I don't know, I don't think she loves Tyrion, but for whatever reason she didn't want to kill him. So I mean that was interesting to me, but that's the only thing I got from that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she just doesn't want to kill him because of some loyalty to her house. Maybe she doesn't want to lose it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But also, I hope JB's the one to kill her. But I mean, in that
Me
episode,
too.
in that episode, the little brothers who were seen to kill her in the prophecy, she had an opportunity to kill both in this finale and passed on both.
That is
So
true.
I mean, maybe that's something, I don't know.
Well,
Something.
in the end, Cersei is.
Jamie's done with her though.
Let's hope so. In the end, Cersei is like convinced, so we think. We'll get to that later. But next we go to Winterfell, where
Kirby, say something right quick.
Sorry.
No, it was something. Never mind. You good?
I mean, I just liked how like he was getting picked on. What was his name?
Tyrion.
Tyrion was getting picked on about being little, and then his siblings like said back off. So it kind of showed they still love him and all that.
Well, Euron's just a fucking hothead.
Whoa! Whoa!
bleep
Oh, I'm
that out.
sorry.
Bleep
I'm
that
sorry.
Whoa! What?
Sam said like 4 cuss words in the last episode. I didn't bleep them out because they're very far in the episode. But I'll bleep that one out. Good lord.
Sorry. Euron
There's
is
a lot of rage.
He's honestly
Euron's
trash.
Darn.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Darn. He's a freaking.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's why, because Cersei was like, we're trying to do business here. Like, I mean, it was so dumb for him to stand up and start that scene like before anything even like started happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what, everybody? This is a rated MA show, so this podcast is rated MA, so we can say these things. It's fine.
Sounds good.
But yeah. So Euron left. That's cool, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we go to Winterfell after all that meeting up, and we personally get to my favorite part of the show. We have Arya and Sansa. You think they're gonna, have this like have it out for each other because Littlefinger is still trying to get Sansa to do something. We still don't know we didn't end up figuring out what he wanted per se.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of obvious that he wanted to, at least isolate Sansa, to have her to be at the point where she couldn't really trust anybody other than Littlefinger. I think that's what he was probably going for. But I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the only reason why I would think that he would really want to, I guess, turn Arya and Sansa against each other so he could have Sansa to himself.
Right. But yeah. So Sansa calls Arya on trial, and Littlefinger you can see sitting in the corner sneering, and he kind of looks like a mouse. Like, to be
More
honest.
like a rat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as Arya's sitting or standing rather, as Arya's standing in front of Sansa, Sansa starts to lay out her charges for trying to betray her family and charges of treason and murder. And then right before she says, Arya, she goes, Peter Baelish, Lord Baelish, these charges are against you. And it's like the big shock because you go, whoa, finally getting that moment for 7 years. So yes, so Peter Baelish is called in front of the trial, and yeah, he tries to get out of it. It's pretty funny.
His pleading to Sansa is just pathetic. And he's like, I loved you, I loved your mother, and everything they just say back to him just shuts him down, like, oh, you said you loved me, but you sold me. You said you loved my mother, but you betrayed her. It's like at that point, I was just like, man, where does like his loyalties lie? Because I mean,
Nowhere.
it was just. I mean, I'm surprised it took long enough as it did to to kill him, but.
And I think like you just said, I think that was the biggest issue with his character this season is that they took too long to finally have his conclusion, because from my views of the whole arc this season with Arya, Sansa, and Littlefinger, it just felt very unreasonable and very rushed. The whole Arya and Sansa deal that they were having, it just seemed like Arya was being a hardhead and overly arrogant, and then Sansa just seemed to almost kind of backtrack in her character arc and started to kind of be more introverted again and not say much. And then you get to the point where Peter's now been outsmarted, but you don't feel like it was rightfully deserved and rightfully done. And then overall, when he dies, it's not that rewarding kind of over the top, not even over the top, but gripping death that you were
It was
wanting. It's just one and done. Arya just slits his throat and then he bleeds on the floor for 2 seconds and then we go to the next scene. It's just rushed. And I mean, then again, that's one of the biggest problems with season 7 is that everything has just been so, we have to get it done because we have all these characters. We've been waiting too long. Now we only have 7 more episodes to get everything set up. So you just get a lot of these unrewarding, rushed moments, and it's really sad.
I thought it was really rewarding, but that's just me. But I understand why that would upset you and why you think
Mhm.
it's rushed and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where Jackson's coming from as well. I was still happy to see his
Him
blood.
die.
Yeah, I was just still happy to see it. So yeah, we finally get revenge for Littlefinger's bunch of all the traitors acts he's done. Also, by the way, why was Bran there? I mean, I get it, he got his word in, but like, he just kind of sitting there.
Bran, I guess like I was talking to Jackson earlier, and I think like all of the Starks being there, like they all had a reason to be. Like Sansa is the one who knows Littlefinger the best, and she knows his games and she knows how to play him. And then Bran can kind of like verify everything because he can like see back and see what really happened. And then Arya, like she said, is the executioner. So I guess they all
Yes.
play their part.
Yas,
Yes.
queen.
Agreed.
Yeah, Arya looked pretty cool in that moment. Did she
Yeah, she did.
did she kill him with the dagger, or did she kill him with her like sword?
Needle.
Yeah.
No, it was with the dagger that she had given him.
Okay, cool. Cause I was wondering. I thought that would have been cooler.
Yeah.
No, she killed him with his own blade.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Gotcha.
I gotcha.
Smells like irony.
Oh no, the irony. So after that, wonderful Winterfell moment, we go back to Dragonstone, where they're kind of planning out how we're gonna get to the wall. What are we gonna do? And we have this. I don't know. Would you call this like? It's not a reunion. It's sort of like when Theon comes into contact with Jon again.
Yes.
I guess it's a more of like a redemption type thing going on with Theon.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was really surprised by Theon and his character development, like from the beginning of the season to now, and I guess his character as a whole. I mean, him having that little, I guess, death match with that one Ironborn. I mean, really shows how serious he is now. How much like it's taken him to realize, how messed up Ramsay really did leave him and how wrong he is. Because I mean, Theon, is in Game of Thrones for a reason. I mean, there's a reason why he has not been killed off and stuff. And I think they did take a long time to get him to this point, but of him at least. I'm happy to see where he's going. And I mean, obviously it's a death mission. Like, I think him and Yara are both gonna die. I don't see them lasting very long into season 8, but it's good for him to go out this way.
Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
Jon is
Well, I think the biggest thing that happened was John gave him his forgiveness.
right.
Too.
Finally.
Yeah. So basically, Theon's kind of like I guess redeemed in this sense. At least with the Starks, he's redeemed.
Well, he tells him, um, "You're a Greyjoy and a Stark. Like you
Yeah.
never had to choose."
I think that was a big moment for his character as well, because it seems like the majority of the entire series, his character has been someone that's looking for a place and is been very desperately
Mhm.
finding someone to be like, okay, you're a Greyjoy, but he doesn't really get that from his
Yeah.
father. He doesn't really get that from his sister, maybe a little bit, and that's why he kind of latches onto her
But
in
by
the
the
last
time he gets it,
season.
he's already reached.
Yeah, but this was really a moment where someone kind of had a conversation with him and went, "This is who you are. Like
And it's
you don't
okay.
have to try to be someone you're not. Like this is the person that you are." And I guess he kind of accepts that, and then from there, now he knows what he is. He knows who he is, so he's gonna try to fit into the bigger picture now.
Yeah, and I think it was really important what John said to him. That Theon is a Stark and a Greyjoy, because I mean John is going to come back to Winterfell and get that bomb dropped on him that he is a Stark and a Targaryen. So hopefully he
Oh
can
yeah.
follow his own advice and take it, as well as, I mean, I don't know how John's going to take it, to be honest. I have no idea. But
Yeah,
I hope he
that
takes
might
it
have been
well.
some foreshadowing
Right.
if John gets conflicted. But no, I definitely like what Theon has become. I mean, I don't think like that was a type of resolution or closure on his character, but I think it's definitely development in the right direction for him for once.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to see if he can get Yara back. I mean, honestly, I'm ready for Euron to die already. Like he's so annoying. I mean, in a perfect world, Theon would be able to rescue Yara, and they would go back to the Iron Islands, and she would continue to be their queen. But I don't know. It would be nice, but probably
It's
not.
probably not
But
going to happen.
probably not. But I like what Theon's doing. Like I like that he finally is like standing up for himself and not letting people like push him around.
Yes. And speaking of maybe not happening, here's why it may not happen. So we go back to King's Landing after Theon
Mhm.
set sail to go get Yara from Euron, and same thing. They're kind of happening in Dragonstone. Jaime's preparing the forces and seeing what the plan's going to be, and Cersei comes in and goes, "What are you doing?" He's like, I'm doing my job," and she goes, "Oh, haha, I was lying." So yeah, so she reveals
And she's
that.
like, I always knew you were the stupidest, and like all that stuff. Like, that's just a great way to start that conversation.
Yeah, to your baby daddy and husband and brother. Boy, what a sentence! I've never said that in my life. Your baby daddy, brother, and husband. Anyways, so yeah, so she makes it clear that even though she said that she was going to make a truce with Daenerys and Jon, she was in fact lying, and that Euron is going to go get 20,000 soldiers from the Iron Bank, and gonna go, I guess, try to sneak attack Daenerys and Jon, I guess.
Hmm.
To which Jamie's just like, excuse me. So Jamie has an argument with Cersei, basically telling her like, listen, if you kill Daenerys and Jon, that leaves the dead. If you kill the dead, that leaves Daenerys and Jon. Either way, we lose. So it's like, you know,
There's no game to win here anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
It seems like there's such a big emphasis this episode on someone who tells the truth from someone who lies, and it seems almost like the Game of Thrones is being put on pause. Like there's the bigger issue, and then everyone is kind of everyone's doing that. Everyone's seeing the bigger picture. Everyone's putting it on pause. But it just seems like Cersei is stuck in the past in a way, is stuck in her own losses and can't quite get out of that game. You know what I mean? She's gonna
Yeah.
play it until she's dead, but she cannot let someone else win. She has to go out on her own terms.
right.
Like,
So yeah, Jamie is like, listen, this isn't right. I'm leaving. To which Cersei goes, no one walks away from me, and the mountain blocks his path.
and basically like shows that she would have like killed him, and Jamie is so devastated.
Right. Basically, she threatens Jamie with the mountain. The mountain draws his sword, and Jamie calls her bluff, and she doesn't kill him. Thankfully, because I really thought she was just gonna kill him right there. Which would make me very sad because Jamie's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy that he's finally left Cersei, that he kept walking and just didn't turn around. He didn't look back. And I mean, it's going to ride north, and I have no idea if he's going to ride north by himself, or is he taking the Lannister horses with him, or anything like that. But I'm just so glad that he's out of Cersei's evil reach and stuff. Like, I've always felt that Cersei or Jamie was way too good for Cersei, and she's really, really, really evil and bad. And Jamie is not really that way. I mean, you could even see that he's willing to put all of this behind him, and he knows that this fight, with the dead is, literally fighting like to live. He knows it's not about houses or titles or who's on the throne or anything like that, but Cersei just can't get past that. And so I think that she's on her own sinking ship, and Jamie is definitely like run.
Exactly. It appears that Jamie just kind of left on his own. But the biggest takeaway from the scene where Jamie puts on his glove is that there's snow falling in the south, which is completely unprecedented. That's never happened before, I don't believe.
Yeah, you can. There was a few shots where you can see how come, because the area where they had the meeting at the beginning of the episode near the end is also covered in snow.
You can also tell how cold it is because Cersei was wearing fur for the first time
Right.
series,
I guess.
which is really out of place for South.
Yeah. When I saw it at first, I was like, "That's weird." I was like, "Oh wait, it is the winter, I guess." So we cut back to Winterfell after, Jamie leaves, and Sam arrives. Finally, we have Sam arriving, and he meets up with Bran.
And the conversation is just so funny. Like, just the way that he takes in Bran being the three-eyed raven. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you're the three-eyed raven." And I think Sam has finally done his part, where he was supposed to go to the Citadel and find that, information that Jon is not a bastard. He's actually, he's legitimate, and, he's actually the heir to the Iron Throne. I mean, up, and I guess he's done his part. Like, it was always his job to, I guess, to read the books and to find the Mountain of Dragon Glass and all that stuff. And now I guess I'm a little worried for him. I mean, I really hope Sam, lives and stuff.
I think.
But I mean,
the only thing that is Gilly is the one who found it, not even Sam.
and not even
then he
Sam
took
didn't
credit
find
for
it, and he took credit for it. I mean, such a man thing to do, but
mansplain Gilly.
Ugh, what I just hate men. Anyways,
Right.
yeah. So now we get that big reveal, like we mentioned earlier in the show. While all this is happening, by the way, Jon and Daenerys are having sex, and Tyrion's kind of looking like
down.
Yeah. Why does
That
Tyrion?
scene is so awkward.
Wait, I like the way
so unnatural.
Hot.
That's if you didn't hear that, Kirby said that's hot. So thanks, Kirby. Yeah, it's weird because Tyrion looks like really sad while this is happening.
I was confused by that. Why?
Because he wanted that.
Why does
right?
Tyrion? Why does Tyrion care?
I think he just knows that it's not going to end well. I think he knows that they both care for each other and all this stuff. But I mean, when has any relationship in Game of Thrones ended well? I mean, like every single
Literally
couple,
none.
yeah, every single couple in that show that show ends up dying. So I mean, with Jon and Daenerys coming together, I mean, obviously she's gonna get pregnant and all that stuff, and like all of this is going to happen, and they're gonna find out that they're aunt and nephew and all that stuff. I mean, I think Tyrion just knows that there's so many obstacles ahead that it's not going to be as lovely as it is on that ship right now.
Oh, and you know what? I forget. At the end of season 6, he warned her not to have a lover. So
But
I mean,
didn't
maybe he's like also worried about. Well, I think he's just worried about her like getting distracted.
I guess that's fair. But
Definitely.
I thought earlier episodes in this season he was like, hey, you should get a lover.
Did he?
I thought he said you need an heir.
To
So
her
might as
about
well
the
like.
line. Yeah, he was talking about the line of succession with her, and so I think he
Oh.
knows. I think he knows that something's going to happen between him or her and John. But I mean, I don't know. I think that's what I got from that look. I got from the look like, oh my god, like it's cute that they're together, but it's not going to go really well
He
because
pulled a
it's just
little finger creeping in those shadows, though. I was like, whoa.
Now
I
and
didn't realize he was there.
now he hears everything.
I really like the way that it was shown though, how Bran, went back and saw Lana and Rhaegar's marriage, and then her whispering to Ned when she was dying about John, and then how Bran was talking about how Rhaegar and Lyanna actually loved each other, and just the way that they did it, like showing John saying he loved her, and then showing Daenerys and saying then she loved him. Like I thought that was really cute the way that they did it, and
It was
um,
edited really well.
Oh, incest, you're so cute.
I, it's just so cute. But I mean, it also just shows that they really are Targaryens.
Yeah.
Can
No
we talk
idea.
about that Rhaegar actor though for a second?
Yeah. Okay.
They look
Again,
just like
what?
Viserys.
Why did they
Why?
do
Out of
that? That makes it so
actors in
confusing.
the world, like why did they just make him like a clone?
Let me look that up, cause I just want to double check because that is too damn close.
No, I read about it. I researched it. It is not the same act,
But even
but I still just don't know why they made them look so
but
similar.
even the hair is the same. It's the exact same.
It's the same wig.
Probably the same wig.
You're right.
They just had it in the back, and they're like, "What are we? Can we use it?"
Oh, put it on Rhaegar.
Yeah, it was
And the
portrayed
actor's
by.
like, I mean, can I get my own?
His,
Oh.
he was portrayed by Wilf Scolding.
Yeah,
Just want to point that out. The
that
guy.
was so. I mean, I was happy that we got a flashback, but when I saw him, I was like, wait,
Yeah.
Who
this
dat?
is not what I wanted.
Well, let me just say that when I was watching it, I was like, oh, so so they hired that actor back, and I was like, oh wait, no, that's wait what? And yeah,
I was very distraught.
I was shook. I was shooketh.
Yes, and then after that, we go into the probably most jaw-dropping thing about this finale, and it is that Viseron, the dead dragon, is back.
He is now blue
And he
flame
has
zombie dragon.
a new
Oh my god!
master.
I just realized he's blue eyes white dragon,
What?
kind of
You realized what?
blue eyes white dragon. Okay, no one's a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh in this chat. That's fine. Someone will get it. Yeah. So the Night King now has dragons and like hundreds and thousands of soldiers. The wall.
Now, whenever I was watching this scene, the only thing I had to say is that I feel like there's a few little holes. First of all,
Well, Jackson,
they
there's a
had all
big
the
hole.
generals come out in front of the army. So if they just had one volley of fire arrows, there go the whole army. And then on top of that, this guy's flying in on an ice dragon. So I mean, if you shot it once with something that was on fire, wouldn't it just
Yeah.
die? And then also, you got to think about the general that they killed in this last episode. Whenever they were out getting a White Walker, whenever he was killed, it killed all of his subordinates. But back in season 5, I believe, the finale there, whenever John is trying to get away from the Night King, whenever they have that attack on the wildlings, John kills one of the generals, but none of his subordinates are killed. So I don't know. I just feel like there's so much inconsistency in rushing with the White Walkers that it's just
But
I don't
Jackson,
know.
Yes.
there's a big hole, the biggest hole. The wall is now down.
This is true.
Yes, the dragon just burnt down the wall, and now they're
And
in
they're
the
crossing over,
Yeah.
and
And there's snow. It's snowing.
Is it just blue fire?
I guess so. Which means it's hotter fire.
But it is fire. It's not ice.
I would think that. Well,
I think it's
I
fire.
think it's fire too. It didn't look like ice.
How is he
Made the
breathing
wall
fire though?
thicker.
Don't dragons need like food and energy and like all
Well, it's not a dragon. It's a zombie dragon.
dead fire? Huh?
It's a zombie dragon.
Zombie.
It's like when you're burning metal, like that blue fire.
Yeah. The hottest.
Honestly,
Yeah, the hottest flame is like the blue flame. Actually, it might be the green flame. I'm not sure. I'm not caught up on my chemistry.
look, I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. I can't even get excited for those scenes. So poorly written and so rushed. Like anything with the White Walkers, like they just completely take logic out and they're like, well, we need to do this, so we'll just do this and people will love it. Like it's so cheap and so rushed and it just like it almost like ruins the show for me, or at least that aspect of it.
Preach.
Harsh. I mean, no, that's. I mean,
Hello.
At this moment, Ed died.
yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of.
Like it's so unsatisfying. Like seeing the wall fall after all of these seasons, seeing the White Walkers finally like reach their destination. Like it's just so unsatisfying because none of it makes sense.
Why does it not make sense though?
Well, it's all rushed. Like Jackson was saying like earlier, like first they have this like hive mind mentality episode, and then go back and look at past seasons, like that's not a thing. Like they just made it a thing for convenience this season because they needed it when they were fighting them in the last episode.
And then
I get that.
this whole season was so structured around gets the dragon as his ride. Because I mean, a lot of this was just kind of really like shoehorned and like unnatural. The whole like expedition to go to the north.
Yeah, like it
It
doesn't
was
make
just a
sense.
reason to get Daenerys up there. I mean, the whole thing with like Gendry running at the speed of light and the Raven like teleporting to do the message. Like it was all so unnatural and so forced. And then now he has the dragon, but it's like he shouldn't have the dragon because it's unreasonable. She should have just killed him right then and there whenever they were all at that meeting. Just
I mean,
turn.
I thought that like I mean, I understand why it's so rushed, but I mean, I I'm just kind of shining a blind eye onto it because I mean, if they really were to do it logically and all that stuff, we would just be here for so long. I mean, because it took
Well,
so long in the beginning and all that stuff. And I mean, I get it, like, but I felt that a lot of the slowness and I guess more logistic part of Game of Thrones, where people would wait and all that stuff, it was really just to show character development and just to show who these characters are. And now we know who they are, and we don't really need to waste time doing that. I mean, yeah, I understand that the story is a little rushed and all that stuff, and you guys really don't think it's logistic and things like that. But I mean, I see where what the writers are trying to do, and I mean, they could really have Game of Thrones go on forever. But I mean, it's so expensive to make. Like it costs so much money. I mean, it's the most expensive show to ever, I think, to ever be like produced or created or something like that. I mean, they film across like multiple different continents. So I mean, I understand why they're doing it, and I mean, to me, I'm still content with the story. I mean, I thought that the white like I thought it was cool. I mean, I think of it as I guess it's just me shining more or being more naive towards it, but I mean, I understand what they're trying to do because I mean, if they're really going to take their time with it and all that stuff, I mean, who knows when the show is going to end? I
well,
mean, this
I understand why they're doing it, but it's their fault that they have to do it this way because they've spent 6 seasons not giving the White Walker storyline an appropriate amount of time or development. Like if they would have started season 1 actually focusing on the White Walkers and giving it like an equal amount of time as all the other storylines, they wouldn't have had to rush it at this stage.
you are right about that. I won't argue that.
I'll definitely say that the scene did its job, but I can understand where everyone's coming from.
Can you, Ed?
Can
I
you really see where I'm coming from?
I can. I
Do you
can't.
even know where I am?
I mean, physically, I can't see you because we're all in like a chat thing. But if I saw you, I would. I think you would be able to tell that I can see where you're coming from.
I think that's it. That's
Yeah, that was the
it
ending
until
of the
like
show.
2019.
What the
Yeah.
snow? Talk about the snow. It's snowing.
It's snowing, yes.
That's a pretty big deal.
Kirby with
No.
the last minute additions.
It is
So
snowing.
so with the end of this season, with the end of this recap show for now, I want to end this properly with what do we think the name of Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen's baby, hypothetical baby, is going to be?
Targaryen.
One more time, Sam.
I
Who?
think John is gonna find out like his real name. And then they're gonna name the baby that.
I think it's gonna be named Targaryen. Targaryen.
It's gonna be named after the Mad King.
What if I have a legitimate thing? What if it's named Eddard Targaryen?
I would like that. That would make sense.
Or Targaryen.
Yeah.
Unless it's a girl,
If it's a girl, name her. Name
George
her.
R.
Lyanna.
Yeah, I could see that. Lyanna Targaryen.
Well,
I'm
do y'all
one
think it's going to
girl.
be a girl or boy?
Well,
Boy.
A dragon.
a boy.
Wow. They
A
just hatch a
dragon?
bunch of eggs together.
Little dragon comes out.
Why'd you make that noise? Is that what happens when babies come
I
out?
think it's
Jackson?
gonna be a boy, but I wish it were a girl.
Me too. You're right. I could totally
Whoa,
see that the
whoa.
Targaryen squad with a little girl. That'd be so cute.
Yeah, there
Um,
aren't enough of them.
Sam, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Why'd you? Your voice like peaked when you said "me too."
Me
You're like
too.
me
It's that
too."
excitement.
So excited for little babies.
Little babies.
Yeah, or little baby. I don't know. They could have
That's
like
a question.
They could
Yeah,
have, like,
they could
3.
have a lot of babies.
Yeah, like what if they have like 9? What if they have like 10 or 9 babies?
Kirby's trying to say something.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Kirby. No, Kirby.
It's okay. You can speak. Do it.
In usual,
Oh.
can y'all hear us? All right.
Yeah.
In usual, like TV show last seasons, around the last few episodes, maybe in the last episode, they like skip ahead. Would y'all be upset, or would y'all like just stay in present time, like not see what happens in the future?
Oh, you're talking about as if
Epilogue.
if this child's birth and then it skips like 20 years and then you see him on the throne or something like that?
I'd be kind of mad because I don't know. I'd be a little mad.
No, I would like to see it.
I think
I'd like to see it too.
if they do it as like the last episode, I'm fine with that. But if they do it like starting off the season, I'd be kind of mad.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
What if they
It'd be
have?
awful. I'm like, what happened? What happened to the war? I
Yeah,
I know.
let's hope that not happens.
think that's it.
Well,
Yep.
what if we? Why don't we do a time jump? Why don't we come back 20 years from now and review the last season of Game of Thrones?
20 years.
Yeah, maybe Coogtv will be like
And
done or something.
Okay,
What if,
now
like-
now
yeah.
we're really getting out there. But I mean, as for the ending, as for the ending of the season, right before the last season, our penultimate season ending, I feel like it's not exactly where it needs, but and I feel like this last season's if we felt a lot of rush this season, I feel like next season with only 6 episodes, I believe, is gonna be even worse. But I mean, I have high hopes for it.
We're all gonna be like an hour and a half long.
Yeah, that is true. I do have high hopes for it. I'm thinking they can turn it around. I'm thinking they got all that bad kind of. I want to hope that they got all that bad kind of like we need to wrap these things up out. I hope that's out this season. They got it done. They dumped it on this one because I want the next season to really come in, and I want it to shake up all that we have. I want to shake the foundation. I want to see character deaths. I want to see development. I want big moments. I want big moments we haven't been able to have in a while. And I mean, I'm excited for it.
Big money moments.
So,
True.
So let's end it with this. My general feeling about the past season, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yes, there were some moments that were like kind of unexcusable writing sense, but I think overall I enjoyed it. What about you, Jackson and Danielle?
It's definitely my favorite game. I mean, and that's all I can say.
Can you say that one more time? Cause you
The
cut
best.
It's not one of my favorite Game of Thrones, and that's all I got to say on it.
out. Okay.
I have nothing more to say. The season shook me, and I'm going to be shook for the last season, and that's it.
I think this season was supposed to be the biggest. Like we had a lot of big reveals and meetups and stuff that we've been, waiting for since season one finally happened. But for some reason, it just felt really underwhelming. And I think it might have been my least favorite Game of Thrones seasons to date. The only redeeming moment I can think is the loot train battle when Daenerys comes in with her dragons and defeats the Lannister army. But besides that, I mean, it was just really underwhelming and disappointing for me.
Well,
Sorry.
Season 1 is the
Looks
worst.
like we're divided.
Best. Season 7 is the one with the sexy incest.
Whoa, it's a rhyme.
I'm glad you got that out, Kirby. Okay.
All right, let's end it.
Everyone,
All right.
from here at Coogtv, I'm glad you stuck with us for like 7 weeks. Thank you for all watching. And this has been Eduardo Flores.
I'm
Jackson
Samantha
Brock.
DeLeon.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. All right.
Danielle Jacobo.
And we've been the Game of Thrones recap crew. Once again, thank you for all for watching. Be safe out there in the hurricane, and go Cougs.
Bye.
Bye.